Okay. This is I can't wait for it. And today I am going to be covering VACQ for Savvy Money Show. And if you don't know Savvy Money Show, go to YouTube and look him up, or go to Instagram and look him up there. You can find his YouTube link as well from there. But Savvy knows pretty much everything he needs to know about what's going on in the market with all kinds of different companies. He is a wealth of knowledge. If you don't know him and you don't follow him already, please look him up and follow him. He's a good guy to know. You can ask him anything and he will definitely give you an answer. I pick his brain on a daily. You'll constantly see him messaging in my YouTube's streams, because we kind of share information back and forth. I chart and he gives me good information that is hard to find. So together we're a pretty solid team, and like I said, like, follow, subscribe, Savvy. He's the man. So let's get on with this chart. I told him I would take a look at it, and now there's not a tremendous amount of information out there on this company. I mean, it just started not long ago. That's the end of it right there. So when trying to find like it repeating patterns and such, there's very limited information out there. But from what I see, I kind of put some plausible outcomes out here. This is the earnings break. I'm not really sure what that means, but it was a line that's already generated on here on TradingView. I imagine this is like where um, they implemented earnings and it dropped 31 cents from there, which would be the break even point, I guess, on that, which would be right here. And so that's why price action came all the way down to this area and tapped it and bounced up. And so, again, there's not a tremendous amount of information on here. If I go to a 4-hour chart, you can actually see this curling up right here, which is a good sign. And so you can correlate that move. Sorry to make it so small. See if I can get this bigger. There. All right. So, I have to shrink it up so you can see them together. All right. So this curling up right here with this little bar is the exact same thing as what this is right here. And so this is the curling up right before it launched. This long wick coming down was the dip into liquidity, the spring. And so that's what this is. The double bar here is the spring. And so then this should be launching up and going out above this area and free riding up. So any time now, you should actually see this actually starting making moves going up. And so because there's not a tremendous amount of information here, I'm having to look at this chart and try to identify where the actual spots are that it's going to break out from and what angle is it going to keep. And so you have a couple candles here that are going at an angle up here, here, and here. And so I drew them with the yellow or with the dotted green lines to kind of show the plausible outcome of that. And then I also took this orange line, which was the shot up from the base of this movement back before they jumped up right over here and up. And so I'm not really exactly sure where this is going to take off at, but based on the trend line that's coming from the top and everything else that I see, this is the kind of like the plausible area of where it would go. And so I've got some lines intersecting here that's kind of giving me an idea of like, okay, well, let's say that this is the last previous high, which it is, and then this distribution down here didn't, this is on a daily chart. I would be looking at this. This would be 2 down here. And then 3, 4 hasn't been hit yet. So 3 is where it touches the Bollinger Band on the top part up here. And so I imagine this starts to come up on a daily chart. The Bollinger Band is going to be close to this area right here. And so here I can switch back over to the daily so you can see it. All right. So 1 is the last previous high. 2 is the touch of the bottom Bollinger Band after it goes into distribution and then sets up for the major sign of weakness. This is the major sign of weakness right here. It should bounce up and arc down like this, or it could just gap up altogether and skip that whole move. But if it kind of was to arc over and come back, make a a higher low than what this one is right here, it would probably come into this corner right here and then shoot straight up like this. And so now, if it does shoot up, you see the Bollinger Band right here. The Bollinger Band goes up, the top of the Bollinger Band ends right here. So this would be really close to where these lines intersect. So 3 could be where this touch price action hits the top Bollinger Band for the first time. 4 could be where it stops the moving at the top right here of this line. And so these are the two. These are kind of like points of structure, or the upper for the consolidation area of in this area right here. This would be like the high where a node is, and this would be a low where the bottom node is. And so it's possible that it would hit, in this area, break through the Bollinger Band, get up into this area, hit this top resistance area right here, come back down, find this bottom one, find support on top of the bottom one. So then that would be 3, 4. Here, I'm gonna grab this arrow. So 3, 4, comes back down to here to 5, find support on top of this area right here, which would be your last point of structure low, and then use that as a spring, so it might actually bounce and then take off and go like that. Maybe hit into this area right here, and I don't know how high it will go from there. It has been having problems running up, and so with as far down as it is right now, it's probably going to run up to this area right here and then start this curve all over again and have to go through these 5 steps again to get back up above this area to break this high. So it might take 2 of these curves to go and break this high. And so right now we're halfway through this curve, getting ready to hit the third point of 5. And then once it does the spring, and you can see where that ends up being, which it might end up being here at the high point of structure before the breakout. It might find resistance there, dip back down into liquidity, reaccumulate, and run back up again. And so it might hit the bottom Bollinger Band right here, and then run back up, break through this area of resistance, and then make a new long going into this area right here to try to break this area before running for a new high. And so it's got quite a lot on its plate to get through in one curve alone. I don't think it can do it unless it has another breakout like this, which I'm not sure if it's going to have that. So if it doesn't have that, I anticipate it going into another drop, like another accumulation run, which would just be like a curve like this going up to try to break this area right here, find support on top of that, and then bounce out to try to go again to break this area right here, which it might have to reaccumulate again once it gets to the roof up here to this area at 1453, and try to break through it again with another reaccumulation. So that's kind of what I see, is that it's got its work cut out for it. But in the short term, I can see it getting up to 11. I can see it probably getting up to 12. And then I see it probably coming back down to about 11, maybe dipping to about 1075, 1050, right before it launches out to go up to 1230, reaccumulating, running back down to that 11, or around 11 dollars, building, gathering up new contracts, regaining the float, or soaking up the float again and getting control of that, and then running up to try to break for a new high past 13, finding support on top of it after it breaks through it, going back into reaccumulation. Once it does that, to try to, it'll probably run up to about 1450, hit that area right there, then go back into reaccumulation to try to break that high right there. And if it's successful getting through those areas right there, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas it'll have to break, and that's why I say it's got its work cut out for it. But if it can do all that, the next 1.5 curves, then it's probably on its way to a new high. And so that's kind of what I see. I know that's a lot to say and a lot to take in, but just you'll have this published here, so you can always hit play on it, just kind of follow up on it, see where it's at. And as it goes along through, if Savvy will just remind me, I'll take another look at it, and I'll update anything that I might need to update. But I think think this is a pretty good start to this path. If you got any questions, you want me to chart anything, if you got any questions about what the curve is and how I see it, how it relates to the Wyckoff methodology, and or if you just want me to look at some tickers for you, whatever, whatnot, I can't wait for it. I see things. I bump my head and I see things in the market, and so that's just my little thing. I say it kind of dumbs me down a little bit, but I'm not a financial advisor. Don't listen to anything I have to say. Don't play any options on my part, on my behalf, for anything that I say. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do see things in the market, and I don't mind sharing them. And you know, sometimes they come true. So, anyways, please like, subscribe. It'll help me move forward with continuing doing these. And good trading this week. Be careful that all the options calls do. It's like a major option ending week, so make sure you're not stuck in any option calls going into Wednesday. Try to find some exits out of those, so that way, if the market does take a nosedive, you're not stuck in them for any longer period than you have to. And if they end on Friday, make sure you're definitely out by Wednesday, because they're definitely going to bring it down. So, anyways, this is me. I can't wait for it. Happy trading. I'll talk to you soon. I forgot to do my screen.